So if we can agree that there is no beginning, so that means 2,000-3,000 years ago wasn't really 2,000-3,000 years ago, it was now, it is now at the same time, then I also realize that the foundation of it all is thought.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katana. And I'm Anarena, and we are the Soulmanity Sisters. Thank you guys for joining us in this beautiful live stream. And we have an amazing, amazing guest today. We're so excited to finally have coordinated our schedules since he's such a world traveler. And so now we're able to touch base with him. This is Dr. Q. Say hi, Dr. Q.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me, ladies.
So we are going to get into this conversation with Dr. Q about Nadi readings. But first, before we start, just so you guys remember, we shared with you our personal Nadi reading, Indian palm readings, a few months ago. So we're going to share that link below so you guys can reference the process and our personal experiences. But we're going to dive deep here now and look at it from different perspectives with Dr. Q, get to know him, the Institute, and how this whole process is working so beautifully for everyone and our humanity as well. So, all right, Dr. Q, are you ready to kind of dive deep? Are you ready?
I shall be your humble servant today. Anything you want.
Thank you. All right, so let's talk about you. I have your bio here, so we're going to introduce you, share a little bit about your history. So you were born an Australian mother and to a Persian father. Austrian mother,
European,
sorry.
yes. No kangaroos in.
Yes. So you've already spent your childhood in Iran, Islamic country. And then your family had to flee to Austria in 1975 due to the Islamic Revolution.
79.
1979.
Yes.
And so then, unfortunately, you had a battle cancer from age 16 to 19, such a young age, while you were in Austria. And then having survived that, that kind of triggered you. We call it like awakening, a moment where you realize there's so much more out there. You began opening up your mind spiritually, and that you wanted to know more. And so this journey you've been on this journey ever since. So, and became a mentor of this kind of knowledge to other people, which brought you to 2013, where you ended up in the ICU with a virus that attacked the body and caused major damage, your heart and lungs.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's like, I'm back here again. And so you were lucky to survive. You don't like to say the word lucky, destined to survive, because there was still so much for you to do. So this caused you to start, you were suggested from your sister's friend that to do a Nadi reading and an Indian palm leaf reading, which to help clear up your karma. So that kind of got you curious, and you did one yourself. And they even mentioned in that reading that you were going to continue this work, this institute, and share it with the West. And so here you are doing it right now, which has led us to you, and voila, full circle.
Full circle indeed, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So would you mind sharing a little bit about a Nadi reading, even though we kind of briefly explained it, but
sure.
Yeah.
I think we need to just lay the foundation here, so folks out there know what this is all about, and I try to keep it as succinct as possible. Now, roughly, because there is no written record of any of this, so it's been passed on from one generation to the next. But give or take, between 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 years ago, Maharishis, Maha means great and Rishi means sage. They sat down in meditation, tapped into the Akashic records, downloaded information for an individual, for soul, so it doesn't matter where you were born, and then had the message written. They dictated it telepathically to their disciples onto palm leaves. Again, you need to put your historical glasses on and think back 2,000, 3,000 years ago. There was no paper, there was no ink, none of that. So the Maharishis, in their eternal wisdom, realized, well, what do we have in southern India? Because everything happened in southern India. And we can pinpoint the place where it all happened. It's called Vaitishvaran Coil. It is in the heart of a state called Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is the southernmost state in India. And to give you a rough idea, because you live in California, it's twice the population of California in that one state alone. About 85 million Tamils live in that state. And we now know it was in the town of Vaitishvaran Coil, which is right in the smack middle of it. These Maharishis, and I brought you a little picture here that I bought at one of the temples in that state, in the city of Vaitishvaran Coil. There are 18 main Maharishis. We call them the 18 main Maharishis. And the guy in the middle, the guy with the pot belly here, his name is Agastya. And Agastya was more than just a Maharishi. He was also astrologer, poet, scientist, many things. And there were books written about him. But his main claim to fame is to be the GP of all Maharishis. He wrote the most leaves. And usually when you get a reading, your first reading will be by Maharishi Agastya, usually. So these folks sat down in meditation, tapped into the Akashic records, downloaded information for souls, individuals, and wrote those messages, or telepathically told their disciples to write it down, onto dried palm leaves. So being Californian, you know what palm trees are. India, they have huge leaves, bigger than in California. So that's a significant part here. So they cut these gigantic big leaves down into slices of about, I don't know, 10 inches, give or take, because it's not standardized. Some of them are 10, some of them are 15 or smaller, about 2 inches or so wide. And when they were fresh, not dried, fresh, and then they used a very sharp tool to etch the information onto the leaf. So there is no ink used either. So it's perfectly biodegradable. And when the leaf dried up, the message came through, right? And that is how they preserved information. And of course, a leaf doesn't last for 2,000-3,000 years. It's too brittle, it cracks up, and it's lost. So what they've been doing is priests and readers have been copying them over to new leaves, just like monks in India did 1,000 years ago. They were sitting in their little cubicles and copying over books. And that's the exact same thing that they've been doing with these leaves for a couple thousand years. And they are stored in the little archives and libraries. And again, I need to make sure that you understand that an archive or library in India is not the same what you're used to. There is no air conditioning, there is no security guard, there is no water dispenser. In reality, it is like a hole in a wall somewhere in somebody's home. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of these tiny libraries. And most of them are owned by individuals, by families who've been doing this for generations. Because the wisdom has been usually passed on from great-grandfather to grandfather, father, son, and so forth. Sometimes, of course, an outsider can also join and become a reader. In order to become a reader, you really need to study for a long time. On average, the real ones, because I need to also be honest here with you too. It took me a long time to establish this institute and find ethical, skilled, knowledgeable readers. It takes them a long time to become a reader for many, many reasons, because these leaves, first of all, are written in a dead language, doesn't exist anymore, called Granta or ancient Tamil. So the reader needs to learn ancient Tamil. That's number one. That's the basics to be able to actually read it. They were written on these leaves, and similar souls, because we're talking soulmanity here, similar souls travel together in a bundle or a book. And for the audience, I brought a book or bundle so that you know how they look like. And each book or bundle has up to 108 individual leaves. 108 is a holy number, sacred number in Hinduism. What we do here has nothing to do with Hinduism, but Hinduism plays a role. So you see, these are individual leaves. And I did, I copied it onto plastic. That's not a real one, because I go on many shows and expos, and people always want to touch it. And I realized if I show them a real one, it cracks and brittles, not so good. So it's a dummy here. Up to 108, but of course, over decades and centuries, it's reduced to usually on average maybe 40 leaves in a bundle or book. Similar souls travel together in a book or bundle. You're not related to one another, but you share one thing. And the secret, I always say, the secret in all this lies in your thumbprint. Ladies, gents right and ladies left thumbprint. We're going to go into that too.
Yeah.
Because again, the Maharishis in their internal wisdom 2,000-3,000 years ago knew nobody reads or writes, because only the educated people could read or write. So they already understood if they connected to the thumbprint, that's the easiest way to find your individual leaf in a book or bundle. Anyone can submit a thumbprint. Again, you got to put your historical glasses on, then you understand things a little better. So at the time, and we still do the exact same process. Nothing has changed, by the way. So they used leaves, which they found in abundance in India. They used a sharp pencil, a sharp tool, because there was no ink or any of that, no henna used. They used the rind of a palm tree to create a cover of the book or bundle. So everything is biodegradable and it's connected to your thumbprint. Now, whether you're black, white, Asian makes no difference, because these leaves were written for a soul in whatever body you come to this life now. Hence, anyone can have a reading, not just an Indian person. I'm a white guy, in case you haven't noticed yet, and I had already 2 readings. So why did they do it? The compressed into one simple sentence, the Maharishis wrote leaves to help the seeker, that will be whoever gets the reading, create a better life trajectory for themselves after the reading. Done. Super easy. Helping you, creating a better life trajectory for yourself after the reading. Whatever better means to you. Now, I went through very traumatic experiences in my life, apart from revolution, but also the cancer period wasn't very enjoyable, I should say. So I spent more time in hospital than most people. I know that. To me, when I got my reading, I just didn't want to be in hospital anymore. No more tubes down my throat, no more needles up my veins, better. That's better to me. To some people, better might mean finding a partner, a better job, more money. Doesn't matter really, better. Now, what's very important also, you need to understand, no one's life is set in stone. It cannot be, because if it were, then you and I were only puppets, and I refuse believing that I'm just a puppet. We have free will and choice. That's very important. Free will and choice. So the Maharishis, again, in their eternal wisdom, gave you a tool. They show you water. You got to drink it yourself to make your life trajectory better by making certain decisions or not making certain decisions. Whether you do it or not after your reading is up to you, because you got free will and choice. But their intention was to help you create a better life trajectory. Okay? So that is the premise, the starting point of it all, why it was done. And the last thing, maybe also to connect it to a bigger picture here, we have, in case you have heard of the yugas, the time periods, there are 4 yugas, 4 big time periods. And at the moment, we are in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, to keep it simple, is winter, the dark times. So when these were written thousands of years ago, we already had Kali Yuga. Now we are in the tail end of it. God knows when exactly it'll be over. Some people say 60 years, some people say 100 years. So either way, we are the tail end of it. So the Maharishis wrote these leaves to help those few that have a leaf, because only old souls have a leaf. We can get back to that too, to create a better life trajectory for themselves, so that they in turn can help others to create a better life trajectory for them, to help humanity through winter, Kali Yuga, to bring it back into spring and then summer. What does Kali Yuga mean for humanity? Also, very simply put, only 25% of souls are open, 75% are in the dark. So 25% have to carry the weight of 75% of humanity that are not ready to hear or lost in darkness. And as the yugas shift, at some point, 50-50, 75-25, but at the moment, we are at 25, minority, carrying the brunt of everyone. So that is the premise of it all. And I'm happy to either continue, or you can ask questions, whatever you'd like to do.
Thank you for summarizing that for us and kind of catching us up to date and bringing us up to par with the whole idea of the reading and how it was, founded and created and its purpose. So we kind of want to dive deep into a little bit more of the questions. Let's start with the fingerprints, because that was something we were really curious about, like identifying the bundles. And you mentioned souls like-minded souls in one bundle. And
Yes.
Dr. Katana has done a lot of work in connection with soul groups. And so is this kind of the same concept of the soul groups? Is this the soul group coming together in one bundle? Or when you say like-minded souls, how is that interpret for you as far as having more than one person on a bundle?
Oh, okay. So going back to a book bundle containing individual leaves, and each one of them represents one human.
Okay.
The secret, as I started earlier, in all of this lies in your thumbprint. Because again, in the old days, no writing possible because most people couldn't read or write. So they connected it to your thumbprint. So when you submit your thumbprint, then the reader, literally, I'm telling you, takes a magnifying glass, looks through it, and identifies your thumbprint category type. There are 108 different thumbprint category types. And each book, they don't have to open a bundle because it has like either a number or symbol on the outside. So the reader, when they go into these little archives, looks at them from the outside and knows which bundle this represents. So which thumbprint category type is this? Because only souls with the same thumbprint category type travel together in a bundle. Male, female, transgender, African, Asian, makes no difference. Could already be dead, haven't been born yet, but that's what you share. Your common identifier is your thumbprint category type. And then they're put together in bundles, and there are, again, thousands of bundles per thumbprint category type, thousands. And we got 108 different category types. Some of them are more common, some of them are very rare. And that is what the common connector is, soul groups. And the reason I'm saying so is because you are connected through your thumbprint, some life trajectories can be very similar. And because both of you have done matching process, which we can go deeper into as well, by giving answers to statements, not questions, statements, a yes or no. Sometimes maybe you too might have thought, oh, that's maybe my actual leaf. And then to find out, oh, it wasn't me. But some of it was very similar to you, and yet it wasn't you. And the job of in our institute, the moderator, is to calm you down and make sure that we stay on track, and that you don't get too overly excited and say yes, yes, yes to any and all, just to make sure that that's your leaf. No, if it's not your leaf, it's not your leaf. If it's your leaf, then it's your leaf, okay? And that is the secret, if you wish. The secret, as I call it, the secret. That's the beginning of the journey by submitting your thumbprint. Now, since you wanted me to go very deep into the rabbit hole, I'm more than happy to do it now too. So, and I have to share a little bit of myself because I've been doing a journey of spirituality apart from a real life journey too, because we all have to make money and have a career and stuff. So, but outside of that, I've done my own spiritual journey because I know, not that I know, but I know that there is a veil that whatever reality is not real. Whatever this is, it's a matrix, however you want to call it, I do not know. So I've been trying to pierce that veil, for 30 plus years. Sometimes I get a peek behind this, the curtain, and I was like, oh my God, amazing. And the deeper you go, the more confusing it gets. That is also my 2 cents of my 30 plus years of searching. The time, the way we perceive it as humans in our biological suit, is not what time is. It's not. We just can perceive it as a linear beginning, middle, end. Life starts and it ends at some point. But I'm pretty sure that that's not the case. I have come to realize that everything happens at the same time. It really does. And we are only aware of one particular timeline that we see as a line and not compressed as one. So if we can agree that there is no beginning, so that means 3,000 years ago wasn't really 3,000 years ago. It was now. It is now at the same time. Then I also realized that the foundation of it all is thought. You know, when you can, and I can do that too, not all the time, but sometimes I can free my brain of thought. It sounds very easy, but it's not. It's super tough. That's why meditation came about. Super, super tough. But for a split second, maybe a second or two, when there is nothing going up there, then you become one with the universe. And when you're there, you realize, oh, wow, if there is no thought, then everything becomes one. There is no me, there is no you, there is no body, everything is one. You're God. You know, wow, I am God. And I use the term loosely, really, universe, however we're going to call it, the everything. And then thought kicks in, and you're like, oh, dang, because as soon as thought kicks in, then you cannot be one, because then you distinguish, then separation happens again. So if we can agree that there is no time, and that everything happens at the same time, and you, through non-thought, are everything, that means you and I are really one, then the moment when you submit your thumbprint, because many people ask me, do I have a leaf? How come I have one and my sister does not? Mm-hmm. First of all, you need to bring that into your reality. If many people listen to this today, many people listen to my Next Level Soul podcast too. Many of them, most of them went in one ear and out the other. They heard it, but it didn't anchor. Many did. Many, thousands, because we got bombarded with reading requests. To them, this became reality. So a thought, wow, they hear it, becomes a thought, and then they want to do it. And the action to bring this into reality, to manifest it into their experience, because we're here to experience whatever it is that we're experiencing. The moment you submit your thumbprint, because that's an action step you take, submit your thumbprint. That moment, 3,000 years ago, at the same time though, a Maharishi starts dictating your leaf.
What happens like in real time?
Mm-hmm. In real time, absolutely. Because before that, it was not in your reality. It didn't exist at all.
Why bother downloading it if you're not even
correct? So I go even deeper than that if you want to, and that's again my own personal experience in life.
That was our biggest question. We were like, how can they know? Like back then, like, but you're right. By smashing the time frame together, it makes perfect sense.
It becomes one. I
requested it now, so
it's been downloaded.
It's also now.
Yeah,
that's when it was downloaded, because there was a seeker in 2024. Let's write it down for her now.
So right now they're probably working overtime because everybody wants.
Yeah,
so they're probably busy right now, working overtime. Okay.
Now I take it even deeper than that. In my meditations, I realized that again, there is no you, there is no me, there is no Dr. Katana and Anna or me or anyone else. It's all one, really. It's all one. We're all one. Fingers or tentacles of the same beast, the same entity, the same existence, however you want to call it. And that means if that is the case, and that's the conclusion I've come to throughout the years, that means the Maharishi is not a separate person to you. So in reality, Dr. Katana, the moment you submitted your thumbprint,
I wrote it myself.
You yourself, 3,000 years ago, wrote it for yourself to give you, to give you in your current reality that you're experiencing as Dr. Katana, guideline, helping you, so that you can create a better life trajectory for yourself. And that is when it all comes together. If you can embrace this little 2 cents of mine, then life makes a lot more sense. We're not puppets. We create our reality every single day. Yeah, because people think, oh my God, everything's written on a palm leaf, then it's set in stone. No, nothing is set in stone. It cannot be set in stone. My God, we make decisions every single day. And don't tell me that today you drink coffee and the next day you drink tea. That's automated stuff. Yeah, maybe a lot of it is on autopilot, but in reality we still make decisions. You can still say, no, today I don't want to have coffee, and today I'm not going to turn left, I'd rather turn right. We have that power. Many of us, some of us don't realize it and continue being in the vicious cycle of life, whatever it is that they're experiencing. But in reality, I think we all have the power to make a conscious decision and choice. And the Maharishis are here to help us remember, number one, remember that there is a choice. Also important, reading as you've experienced yourself is not meant at all. So folks out there, at all, to make you feel good about yourself. That's also important. It's not sugar-coated. If your life until today, mind my French, was shite, off track, drug abuse, I don't know, whatever you did, wasting your life and in one way, shape, or form or another, then the reading will tell you that, because the reading purpose is to help you create a better life trajectory for yourself after your reading. So you cannot expect, having wasted your life until now, to then be told, oh, you're an angel, everything's wonderful. No, it cannot be. The reading will tell you, man, you've wasted your time. I mentor a lot of folks, and I had this kid, get a kid, 30 years old. I could be his daddy, So the reader told him, you are wasting your time. You're late in everything that you do. Get your act together now. You have a free will and choice. He could have been upset, say, oh my God, how the hell dare him telling me this and blah, blah, blah. But he said, Dr. Q, you're my mentor, because I've been mentoring outside of this reading too. Said, I'm very grateful. He said, I needed to hear this from a person that I do not know at all, that I've been wasting my life. I have a lot more to give. And so from today, he said, I promise you, I'm going to change everything. And he did. Free will and choice. Went back to school, study, job. So his life is very different to a couple of years ago when he had his reading. But it's his choice. They showed him the water, not sugar-coated, not saying, oh, what a great guy you are, cute, handsome, young. And no, they said, dude, you have these qualities, you wasted them. You got to do something about it now, because if you don't, you will never be fulfilled in your life. You're always out of alignment, but you want to be in alignment. That's what you want. And that is the job of the Maharishi. So whoever will get a reading, please do not enter the reading thinking they will tell you you're a healer, you're special, you're chosen. No, you're not. I mean, we're all chosen. We're all special, really. We are. It's all about what we make with it, of it, the gift that we all have. And that is the whole purpose, to help you make the right choice so you can steer your ship called life in the right direction.
This is really wonderful, because Dr. Gatana has really channeled a lot of information, what we call the divine blueprint, which is the journey of an individual's soul. So also the Akashic records, dealing with the Akashic records, but the divine blueprint, as you would say, it was always just kind of a guiding system for you throughout life, but you have free choice. So we have detours, but there is an overall theme of what you should be accomplishing in your life purpose, but how you get there is the free choice. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, I was shown like the pre-planning room before you come here to Earth, and that you sit with your guides and then you decide what would you like to go through in this lifetime. Okay. And so then you plan everything, and then all your players around you as well. So all your other the souls from your other soul groups or nearby soul groups, they play all these different roles with you. And so you go through life, you don't remember a thing when you come here. You just need to start to remember who you truly are. But you kind of did plan it, but you are right. You do still have free choice. You can say, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. Or you just try to overcome the obstacles, the karma that you built up and things like that. And then you do a lot of shadow work, you forgive, and then you basically
try to align, get back on track.
Yeah. So there is always a theme. So that it's true. So you come here either to be stronger. For example, you come in here as an empath and you'll meet narcissistic people as obstacles in your way. So for you to realize that you are just as strong, things like that will happen in your life. So you do put obstacles into your road, and I'm very connected with my guides. And so I already knew I had like 257 obstacles that I placed into my life. Cancer was one of them. And then and I overcame that that was a part of the awakening part as well. Even though I had a lot of wisdom when I came, I still needed to go through a lot of human experiences to make me who I am today. And through the Nadi reading, it was basically, they basically said to me, you are a spiritual mentor, which is what I am right now. I'll have, like they said, like a center, which is what we have right now. We have the Katana Institute.
Yeah.
So I'm on track. You're on track. We're all on track. So we're happy about it.
You've seen it from different perspectives.
Yeah.
And so to add on to that, so when we did the actual reading, because we wanted to make sure we were supposed to do it together. And so we had similar, things because we were soul contracted to do this together. So I also had the message that I'm supposed to be a spiritual mentor. I'm supposed to be doing my own spiritual center. The partnership, it was actually all in there. It was pretty crazy. But when they're asking questions, I think our biggest awareness was there were some things they asked that was part of our decisions that we made in our life. So for example,
You mean the matching process?
the matching process. So for example, one of them would be, did you have a degree in financing and accounting? And I said, no. And then they asked it to me twice. And I kept saying no. They said, did you get a degree in marketing? And I said, yes. So, but I did go to college. My first intention was to get an accounting degree. And I was actually in accounting for 2 years before I switched it to marketing. So we noticed different decisions we made in our life that we said no to, flipped the leaf or flipped it to the next one until it was a perfect match. But it was almost as if someone else lived that life of being in accounting or made that decision to continue with accounting, even though I went on to marketing. So how does that play a role? All those different alternative statements are matching, like to this point that, in that moment, matching it with us at this current time. Because it seems like it's like another fractal of us, another timeline of us, or is this another soul that picked up where in our group where we left off? Like, how would you explain that?
Again, it goes all back to that everything happens at the same time and that we're all one. All that reality is not what we perceive it to be, and the experiences that we have is only one. Because I've been thinking about, if everything happens at the same time, how come I always come back to this old man's body, banged up, cancer, this, struggles, and why don't you go back? Because there is no time and we're all one. Why don't I choose to be a younger version of me or someone who has a little more brains than me or something? I don't know, anything different. And yet I always come back into this reality, this. When I had my reading 10 years ago, to keep it again, coming back to palm leaf readings, and the guy said, oh, you're going to bring this to the West. In this reality, I thought, he's kidding me. I'm a white guy. I have nothing to do with this. I have no plans at all. I'm happy to not be sick and go about my life. And yet, I was very enthusiastic about it because it was a mind-blowing experience to me. I shared it with friends and family, and they all wanted to get a reading. And so I helped them get a reading. And then they shared it with their friends and family, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger. I was like, oh my God, I'm helping these people I've never even heard of before. And that is how we started doing the Institute and putting it into a legal framework. Now, the same reality, a different me is experiencing a different reality by not bringing it back to the West. It's still me, just a reality that I cannot experience now, but I am 100% convinced that there is another me experiencing a life doing something completely different. Some people get very angry when they get sick afterwards, bitter, angry. I know so because I spent a lot of time in hospital, a lot. And some people are super joyful, helpers, kind, never give up. I could have also turned into a grumpy old man, being just upset about everything. And I'm pretty sure there is a version of me experiencing exactly that, because we're free will and choice. If you choose subconsciously, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, to be bitter about things, well, then you will go through a bitter life, period. And so bringing it back to palm leaf readings, I am pretty sure, Anna, that there is another you who studied or finished, graduated in accounting. And there is another you who never entered high school or college. Or there is another you that finished a PhD. And yes, so when you did your matching and they came back to things, yeah, I'm pretty sure it could be different versions or realities, because everything happens at the same time, but we only get to consciously live through one. It wasn't the palm leaf written for Anna in this reality that we're talking in now, not for an Anna in a different reality, because in a different reality, there might not be a bundle or a leaf for her, because in that other reality, you might not be smart enough or seeking enough in the spiritual world. It could be in a different reality. It could be like super, I don't know, money driven or non-spiritual at all. I don't know, just not this version of yours that you have now.
I think that was one of the things we were scared of, because I was like, am I in these bundles? Because he kept flipping, flipping. I was like, he would have to go to the second bundle. And I was like, am I going to make it? Am I going to like, are they going to find me? Because I kept saying no to certain things and flipping. But Dr. Atana has done a lot of work with fractals, different versions of yourself, and seeing your different fractals and experiences, and knowing, I think you're like third, or like there's more in front of you.
Yeah. I brought all my fractals together, and there's like about 3 ahead of me that basically went down their life purpose, and they're like way ahead of me, like with 7 books out, or and I'm still struggling on my first, and I know I'm supposed to, and I just like tap into them and say, hey, give me some pointers here, so, and then I have others that are completely living in different countries and things like that. So I do know that different versions of us exist on various timelines, and even in different.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. So in my Nadi reading, everything was down to the T, even the names of my parents, and then my birthday was wrong. I'm like, what? Right? So then finally we found the right leaf with my correct birthday, and that I just realized, wow, there's another version of myself born in a different day with different vibrations because of the numbers that carry vibrations in your DNA. So in this lifetime, I have the life path 22, which is a master number. So I'm supposed to build something big. So this other version of myself has a different kind of vibration, maybe not going down the spiritual path, but in my correct one, I'm like, wow, that blew me away.
Yeah.
Like, sitting there, someone in 3,000 years ago said, okay, this Dr. Katana here is going to open up an institute. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It was pretty mind blowing.
Mind blowing. I love the Nadi readings. This was great.
Thank you.
Because I'm like, man, I did a lot of decisions.
A lot of decisions. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe since you mentioned the word Nadi reading, and you, Anna, were saying, oh my God, will I have a leaf? So first of all, if we find a bundle, to everyone out there, if we find a bundle, you have a leaf, period. It might not be the first matching. We haven't even spoken about the process at all. But what we've been talking about now is called matching, by the way. This is just a bundle based on your thumbprint, your gender, your country of birth, your gender at birth. Now we're asking it that way because we've already had several readings with transgender people, but it's the gender at birth that matters. And the country you were born in. That's what's important. And also if you had a reading before or not, because the way these archives store, or these bundles are in these archives, are structured based on which of the Maharishis wrote them. So there are different sections. And obviously your thumbprint category type. So to Anna, going back, there is a leaf. Doesn't matter if we find a bundle, there is a leaf. Usually 90% of the time, first matching works. If it's not a match, going through the bundles that were found first time around we go back and find new bundles, and second matching is 99%. So as long as you trust that there is, we will find your bundle with your leaf in it. It's guaranteed. So that's the matching process. Maybe we can talk about that quickly too, so people understand what the whole thing is all about. So you submit your thumbprints, and we go on a search based on your thumbprint category type, and that takes a while. There is no computer involved, by the way. There is no registry of any kind, so there is no book or computer program where the reader goes into and knows which archive to go. No, that's doesn't work like that. They have to physically find a bundle, and that takes time. If you're lucky, it's one day. If you're not so lucky, it's 6 months, but it has no impact on your reading, none. And of course, we also have logistical problems like any other institute out there. We're swamped with reading requests. So if it's only one person who wants a reading, I can guarantee you within a day or two, I can find your bundle, and there you go. But we have thousands, like a lot. So we have to also manage time, and the reader hops on his bicycle, goes to one archive, then the next archive, or hops on his moped or bus, or we use an agent, we call them from in a different municipality. Let's say you're in Southern California, and there is none that would match your thumbprint, your gender, your country of birth. So then they will call one in San Francisco, let's say, and say, hey, dude, up there, can you quickly look and let me know if you find one? So that's how it works in a nutshell. And then when they find a bundle, they bring it back to the office. And if you were in India, of course, you will go to the reader's office. Office is also a little exaggerated. It's more like a hole in the wall, but it's called office. Then they will open up the book for you, and they go through each leaf, and each leaf represents a soul. And in order to find your actual leaf with your name on it. And this process is called matching. Search is the first. After you submit a thumbprint, bundles are found. We do the matching. That's the second step. And the only answers you ever need to give to a statement, these are not questions, statements, is yes or no. For example, reader looks at it. It's written in the dead language as a poem, not in prose. That would be awesome if it were. This leaf belongs to Anna. Oh my God, it would be so awesome if they wrote it like that, but not. It's written like a poem, and the reader has to learn how to deliver it to you. It's delivered to you in a sing-song, dum badum 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 badum. You might remember that. And since you're into vibrations, and I can answer another one of your questions that you had previously sent me, the way it's delivered to you, the matching and the reading, bum badum 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 badum. I'm just imitating it. Has healing faculties in it. It's vibrations. Because the whole process of matching and reading is meant as a healing tool. So as you listen, as you receive the vibrations, it's meant to heal you. So dead language, poem, and it's as the icing on the cake, if you wish. It's written in symbols, and they need to be decoded. And the reader needs to know which direction to decode the symbol. And and all you need to ever answer is yes or no. So he looks at it, he finds the most important statement on that leaf. For example, you're married, because the soul whose leaf this is a married soul now. He will say you're married. If you are married now, you say yes. If you're not married now, then no, it's not you, period. He goes to the next one. But for as long as you say yes to a statement, he stays on the same leaf and goes deeper and deeper and deeper until there is one leaf where you say yes to everything. And that's your leaf. It's called matching, matched leaf, where the reader tells you, and the reader, again, for the audience out there, does not know anything about you, anything. I guarantee you that. He only knows your thumbprint, and either if you're lady left, if you're gentleman right, your country of birth, gender at birth, and that's it. Not more needed. He will tell you your first name, your mother's first name, your father's first name, if you have any siblings, how many children, how many, I don't know, points that you were like, wow, that is me, period. That's me. That's called matching. And once
details they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Correct, they would know. And of course, I get all the time messages on Instagram and YouTube. Oh, this guy was doing hacked into my Social Security. I said, man, do you really think for $500 and I don't even make money with this at all, I would bother to waste a minute of my life to Facebook someone or Google someone? Forget about it. The reader comes to the office with the bundle in the morning. We meditate to get him into the right mood, and then we start the process. That's how it works. And whoever out there doesn't believe it or is skeptical, please don't do it. I'm not here to convince anyone to do anything, really. I'm here to help people. And if you trust the process, I can 99% guarantee you'll have an amazing experience. And amazing could also mean a kick in your butt, because it's not sugar-coated. It's meant to help you create a better life trajectory for yourself after the reading. And if you need a kick in your butt, take it like that and say thank you, because apparently you needed it. Yeah. That's just the way it is, right? But in India, we call it Nadi reading or Nadi astrology. And Nadi has many meanings. Among them, seeker. That's the reason why we call the seeker. Leaf, Nadi leaves. It's a leaf called pulse, representing human life, but also the exact moment in time when the message is delivered to the seeker, not a day before, not a day later. So the exact moment in time when you will receive the message. So whenever it happens, it's perfect. There is no right or wrong. It's exactly on the day. And the reading starts on the day you get the reading, because from that moment onwards, there is a message, not before. There isn't. Because from that moment onwards, you're being given guidance, direction, a blueprint for your life, a compass, so that you can make your life better. In one simple sentence, make it better. Some people are crazy enough wanting to live longer. I for sure don't. But some people are like, oh my God, I only turned 85. I want to turn 99. Okay, well then work on it. The reading can only guide you, show you the water, but you got to do certain things, stop smoking, do workout, I don't know, whatever it is that you need to do to make that a reality for you. And the way we do it, we only do whole life readings. You both had a reading. Whole life readings means it covers all aspects of life: health, spirituality, family life, money, career, all of it. And it tells you the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And if it's good, it means it's a good period to do X, whatever that X might be in your life. Move, change career, expand career, find a partner, get pregnant, write a book. That's a period of time good for X. Whether you utilize it or not, again, you got free will and choice. You can do it or not. But I tell you, if you plan something, that's a good time to do. If it's bad or ugly, and that's very important to share with you too, if it's bad or ugly, that means a block was identified in your life, a block. And that is in reality an energy block, because everything in life is energy. And if in certain aspects of your life, the energy is not like a perfect sine curve, that is the most perfect curve in the universe, it's all over the place. The more all over the place it is, the more effed up your life, the part of your life is: health, relationship, money, career, whatever. And that's identified. And I tell everyone in my readings, and I train all of my moderators to tell everyone when they get their reading, embrace the identification of your block with all your heart as a blessing in disguise. Because the block existed before, you were just maybe not aware of it. You were hitting a tree all the time, not knowing why the hell is this happening to me over and over again. Bad relationships, I don't know, being taken advantage of at work, whatever it might be, I do not know. But now we tell you, there is the block. The block can be star, planets related. It could be karmic related. I do not know, but they will tell you that. So, and the reason why I say embrace it with all your heart as a blessing in disguise, because the real power in the reading, secret is your thumbprint, but the real power in it, the gift, are the remedies at the end. Remedies, the pujas. They're here to help you reduce or ideally overcome the identified blocks in your reading. But the person who needs to do it would be you, because you got free will and choice. So if you can embrace that, the blocks have been identified. If no blocks are identified in your reading, then you are an angel. It's impossible. And we're too young to be angels, and have wings. We're here as humans, and so we all have blocks. Some of us more, some of us less, of course, but we all have blocks. And it's the beauty of it. The leaf itself, in the last chapter called the 14th chapter, the remedy chapter, has the remedies already written in it. And they tell you what to do. And these remedies are nothing outrageous, nothing. They're mantras, a physical act, maybe something to donate, or, nothing outrageous. Everyone can do it, really. Anyone, doesn't matter, wealthy or not, female, male, makes no difference. But you need to do it exactly as prescribed. So unlike the reading, which must only be taken as a guideline, as a blueprint for your life, so that you, for your will and choice, can steer your ship in the direction that you want, so you can create a better life trajectory for yourself. The pujas, on the other hand, they must be taken verbatim, must, because that's your way of showing the universe that you're serious about change. That means you embrace the fact that there are blocks. If not, you were an angel. So yes, I accept there are blocks in my life. And the reader, the Maharishis tell you, do this, simple things to help you overcome it, reduce it. It's all energy, really it is. Our conversation, the computer, I don't know, everything is energy. It manifests itself differently. If we can agree on this one important fact too, not necessarily maybe you two ladies, but the audience out there, then if it's energy, energy can be changed. Everything can be changed. Health is energy, money is energy, relationship is energy, joy is energy, but at the same time also sickness is energy, and lack of money is energy, and lack of friendships and love is also energy. So your way of showing the universe that you are serious about getting it back into a sine curve is doing the pujas exactly as prescribed. That's where the power lies in a reading.
And just to ask, because like mine was monthly, I had to do one puja, which is once every full moon for 5 full moons.
Yeah, for
I can
example.
start my other pujas, right? So
Mhm.
that's the big one. So I think we were laughing so much when we first tried speaking, because we were ripping this to shreds because we couldn't, because it's in a different language. So we were trying to pronounce it as best as we could. So our first question was like, well, if we're not saying it right, is it going to mess up the puja? Is it going to mess up the
No.
mantra? So we were like wondering if that had anything to do with anything, because we know how important sound, vibration, and frequency is.
Yes.
So we were like, well, if we're not pronouncing it right, is it even working?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
again, I know we get a lot of emails. Oh, I do not know how to pronounce it. I do not know what it means. And I always answer the same. It makes no difference if you understand what it means. It makes no difference if you pronounce it correctly or not. What really matters is doing it exactly as prescribed, on the day prescribed, and do it with all your heart, not just, watch TV and then, do it like, no, you got to focus your energies on it. And the intention, that's very important. The intention as you do it must be to help you overcome the block it's meant for. There is a reason why you get Ganesha or Murugan or Shiva or Parvati. Each one of them represents something. And each puja tackles a block identified in your reading. Karmic issues, I don't know, family issues, issues with children. If you have child issues, it's always Guru Dakshinamurti. If you have relationship issues, it's always Lord Murugan. So you got to really do it with the intention to help you overcome the issue it's prescribed for. And then eventually, as you do it, energy starts shifting and you will see change in your life.
Yeah.
Hopefully more money comes in. A dispute with your sibling or your child or your parents starts, getting less. And that would be your opportunity to then go right in. You can see there is less stress with your parents. I'm just making this up, that you have issues with parents or your child. And because I see these all day, every day, that's what we do. People have issues, either family-based, friend-based, or health-based, whatever that might be. And as you can see things shifting, now you open up the doors to heal things, to reconnect.
Yeah.
If I may use this one particular example. Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest questions we that were from our group was like, am I, because you send a picture to read the mantras to the picture, and they're usually these entities, these gods, and so the question a lot we receive is, am I worshiping this god when I'm saying this mantra, because of the different beliefs and systems. But we always kind of say it's like asking for help from like Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael. It's not worshiping, it's just
It's not
asking.
worshiping.
It's
not
just
worshiping.
asking for help, and what they particularly have strengths in. So that's
Yes.
kind of how we do that.
So if it helps people, because we get these questions also a lot, put your historical glasses on one more time and think back 2,000-3,000 years ago when these Maharishis lived. Who are you, by the way? But we don't want to go back deep into the rabbit hole. They only knew at the time India. They didn't even know there is anything outside of it. They didn't, right? 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. Then they only knew Hinduism because that's how they grew up, Hinduism. Hence, they could only utilize gods in Hinduism to help shift energies by doing pujas to overcome the blocks identified in a person's reading. They're just a vehicle. They represent something. And Hinduism is a very literal religion. For each issue, each problem, there is a God. Makes it easy. There is no written book like the Bible. There isn't. But there is a lot of rituals, a lot of hands-on work, or very direct. There is one problem, there is a God for that problem. Done, okay? Now, it doesn't matter what religion that you have out there. I'm talking to the audience here, whether you're Catholic or Muslim or I don't know, makes no difference, really. You can continue with your own belief system, continue with your own religion, because it's a non-religious act. But somehow you need to accept the fact that you're invoking the help of an entity to help you overcome a block identified in your reading. And if you're open enough to receive a reading, then you're hopefully open enough to realize that the Maharishis can only utilize what they knew at that time. They didn't even know that Jesus existed or will ever exist, or Muhammad, or, it's a non-religious act. Embrace it like that, and you'll win, because the whole purpose of a reading is to help you create a better life trajectory for yourself after the reading.
I have one question. Once you're done with all the remedies, are you allowed to go back and redo them, or is it just done?
Well, it's done, but I tell people all the time, if it makes you feel better, if you feel the need, the calling to do them all over again, do them all over again. But you were only given a remedy to do once.
Okay.
And once a cycle, and there are many cycles, some people have 10 cycles, some people have 5 cycles, 2 cycles. Of course, they represent energies, and we invoke their help. We ask for their help to overcome blocks identified in a reading. So yes, so it's a non-religious act. Anyone can do it. Just put your historical glasses on, and hopefully that helps you understand things a little better.
So for Dr. Katana, she does like a lot of healing in the Akashic records. So that's kind of what we looked at the remedies as, is
there's healing, absolutely, yes.
Like she likes to go in the Akashic record and help heal those blocks while in the Akashic records, right?
Or in one of your 7 auric layers. So yes,
so it's really nice. It's kind of the same thing. You have remedies, and
yeah.
she has the healing. So it's kind of
Yes.
very similar. Yeah, we're doing our pujas. We're good. We're very dedicated to the pujas, no matter how terrible we sound.
Yeah, again, I did the same. Mind you, I didn't have the guide that you have in me. I didn't. I had to figure it out more or less myself. And I was like, I understood it from the get-go, because I've done many things before in my reading, which was maybe 10, 11 years ago, something like that. I understood the power of puja, what it means, and why it's supposed to be done exactly on the day. And it's super easy. Really, it is. Don't waste your energies on how to pronounce it correctly, because I didn't. Don't waste your energies on trying to understand the words. I didn't. But what I understood is when the guy told me, the reader told me, you have to do, I don't remember, to be honest, all of them, but 5 Wednesdays in a row, you can bet your life that every Wednesday, and I did all of my pujas in a different city as I was traveling in a hotel room. I took the picture with me, I bought some flowers, candle, put it up in my hotel room, and I did the pujas. Because I said, look, my entire wish is not to be back in hospital, no more tubes in my throat, no more needles in my vein, that's it. And if it's that little that I need to do, hell, of course I'll do it with all my heart, the intention of overcoming the block. It's easy. So you need to understand the concept. And when you understand the concept, we all then realize that whether you do an Akashic record reading or an energy healing or quantum healing or God knows whatever type of healing you do, ultimately it's all one. It's just different modalities to help you get better, make the most out of this short time that we have in this particular existence and reality that we're in. Just make the most of it. That's it.
That's it.
Wonderful.
Which is what we're here to do.
Yes,
we're gonna end on that positive note. We're gonna wrap this up. We can't thank you enough for asking those questions and diving deep with us and kind of looking at it from the other side. It's still mind blowing every time we talk about this stuff. It's still mind blowing every something else.
It is.
So, and again, we always want to recommend and suggest. We'll put all your information, contact the Institute, and get on that list.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a list, guys. So you guys want to get on that guest list, I want to say guest list, but get on the list so they can search for you. It is a process, and I think there's a waiting list, right?
It takes time.
Waiting list too, as well.
But it's okay.
Yeah,
we'll do our best, to help.
Yeah, it is.
People get on the active list, yes. So that people know it's the Indian Palm Leaf Reading Institute. That's what we do. It's an institute and a foundation, by the way. I'm very, very proud to say too. It's a not-for-profit foundation too. We really put a lot of money back into doing good things. We support an orphanage. Every reading helps us help more. And so the whole purpose of all of this is here to help. I'm not here to be a millionaire. I live in a very small apartment. I don't own a car. Again, I do this for free. Me personally, I make no money with any of this. So whether anyone signs up or not, to me personally makes no difference, apart from the fact that I want them to be leading a better life trajectory after the reading. But know that I'm here to make this a better place for everyone involved. And that every reading supports authentic readers be able to do what they're destined to do and not lose them to be, I don't know, in a call center or do something different because they need to make money too. So our purpose is to help. You can find us as IndianPalmReading.com. The website is easy, IndianPalmReading.com. On Facebook, Indian Palm Reading. On YouTube, Indian Palm Reading Institute. Even on Instagram, even though I hate all of social media. But I was told we need to have the presence in all of it, LinkedIn even, and all that. So, and the cost is also pretty simple, straightforward. There is no ifs and buts and hidden, none of that. It's very simple. $100. You put down $100, you give us your thumbprint, and we start the search for a bundle. And that takes a while. So you're going to be patient, my friends out there. Patience is a virtue. We know that. Several months, and then after it could be a week too. I do not know. I'm just saying you got to be patient. And then once we find these babies here, bundles, we send you a message saying congratulations, as both of you know. We found your bundle. Then you pay $400, and then you schedule your reading because the reading takes 3 to 4 hours. It for sure beats you buying a flight ticket, inoculation, visa, and then go to India and find anything. So I'm telling you, we do it as easy as possible for you. And that is, in a nutshell, about the Institute. So thank you so much for having me. And thank you for everyone out there for your trust and support. It means the world to us. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll be, I'm sure, in touch with you, and we'll let you know about how we're doing over here and sending people your way too as well. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.